And our final speaker this afternoon is Rashim Mokha. She is the head of product at Automation Anywhere, and her talk is Project U, DevOps Approach to a Leadership Career. There
you go. You've seen all slides now. Okay. Hi, everybody. Who is tired of being in this conference today? Okay, let's do one little thing. Let's all get up and get into our favorite superpower pose, whatever that pose means to you. Mine is this. Let's see yours. A little stretch. 1, 2, 3. Back on your seats, otherwise I won't have any time. So who knows about the concept of DevOps? Very good. CI/CD. Awesome. And now that so many of us know about the concept of DevOps, we're going to actually use it in our life to further our career. My name is Rashim Mokha. Up until when I submitted this slide deck, I was in the process of switching jobs. So I have my title as founder of EWOW. It's an initiative that I started last year, Empowered Women of the World, and essentially believing that every woman is a leader and all they need is an intellectual platform to help being successful. Some facts to start with. We represent 51% of the world's population, and we account for close to 80% of the total consumer spending in trillions. So clearly, we are not a minority, right? And here, I think we are pretty much all of the world, right, in this group, because there are practically no men in this group, just 2 that I see. Okay, but the reality is that we hold only 5% of the leadership positions in the tech industry, and more than 2/3 of the US startups actually have no women representation on their boards. 3% of the venture capital money goes to female-led companies, and remaining 97% goes to men, and only 17% of the startups globally have a woman co-founder. I want to bring up these facts because the next slide is going to talk about leadership affirmation, leadership effectiveness, because sometimes we think, well, you know, maybe we're not leaders, or maybe we're not conditioned to be leaders. But the reality is that we have it all. If you look at this study that was published by Harvard Business Review, of the 16 key traits of leadership, if you will, there was a comparison done between men and women, and on the 13 of these parameters, women actually exceeded men. There were 3, which was around innovation, around technical expertise, and strategic perspective, that actually women trailed behind men. And the reason that was attributed to this was because they're not given enough opportunities to show innovation, to show professional expertise, and to develop strategic perspective. So this is my journey. Last year, I delivered a session on Fast Track Your Leadership Career at Women Transforming Technology Conference. As I was walking out, one of the attendees, emerging leaders, came to me and said, "Do you have a book on this topic?" And I looked at her and I said, "I don't have one yet, but I'll have one soon." As I walked out, I made a couple of calls to my fellow speakers who had books, got in touch with the publisher. 3 months later, we published the book, Fast Track Your Leadership Career. 11 hours after the release of the book, it was an Amazon bestseller. I tell you this, thank you. I tell you this because I want you to know that none of us are doing the jobs that we are doing today because we studied for these jobs. This is not how we started our careers, and this is now how we'll end our careers. We can have multiple lives. I'm a speaker, I am a mentor, I'm a sponsor, I have a corporate life, and I'm an author as well. The reason why I tell you this is because we can live multiple lives and we can be successful in each of those lives all we need is that mindset to be able to achieve. Because if we rely on the society to change things for us, even that 2085 is not happening. So today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about some key elements. And this is my template, by the way. I'm going to give you real-life examples from my life so that we can templatize it. I come from a project management background. I read a lot of leadership books as I was getting into leadership roles. And I basically realized that I had to skim through so many books to get the content that I needed to be, or to create a template. So I actually put it together in my book for you, but we're going to talk about some of these topics and the experiences that I have seen from other women after this 6 months, 7 months of release of the book. So we're going to talk about identifying your superpower. We're going to talk about building your brand. We're going to create a plan to develop our skills. We're going to learn how to navigate work politics. Because remember, work politics is always going to be there. What we have to understand is how to change our mindset around it. We're going to also talk about building our emotional, intellectual, logistical, and intellectual support system or framework. And then we are, in a true DevOps fashion, we're going to learn how to rinse and repeat that. Because this is not the first job role that you're going to have, and this is not the last job role that you're going to have. So how do you get into that DevOps model to continuously refresh this template, if you would, or go back to the user board or user stories, if you will. So superpower, this was the post that we did some time back, right? So it's very important to know what your superpower is. Some people call it unique selling proposition. I feel like a commodity when I say this is my unique selling proposition, so I like to call it my superpower. And I was very lucky because very early on in my career, one of the VPs actually after a successful project came to me and said, well, you have a make it happen superpower. And I'm like, yeah, okay, good. Now I have to go back and see what that means because I really didn't know what that means, right? So think of your superpower as something which sets you apart from other people. So for example, on a team, you have 5 peers. So you are the 6th one. If the promotion opportunity comes, why should your manager choose you and not the other 5 people, right? Because not everybody is incompetent, and if luck would have it, at least 3 or 4 people would be performing as good as you are. So just by saying, well, I performed better than that person is not going to help. You really need to know what sets you apart from other people. And that superpower, you're going to flaunt it in every conversation that you have. So for me, I realized that the make it happen superpower was actually all about me being able to create a strategy around ambiguous projects and to be able to create an executable plan that my team could take forward and operationalize. And that is my superpower. I look at it back and I go back to it again and again, and I realize that it still continues to be my superpower. I'm always given hard to achieve, impossible to dissect kind of projects where there's a problem and really we don't even know whether it's a problem or not. And it's parked and I will figure it out and I'll make it happen. Now, at this one point, I want to put out a disclaimer. I do not have all the answers. It's not magical me, with my pixie dust sitting over there and blowing it on people. It's all about understanding what resources can you leverage to get answers. Leaders do not have all answers. They understand what are the resources that they can leverage to get the right answers. And that's important. Okay, so how can you find your superpower? If you don't know what your superpower is, ask others, right? If somebody appreciates you for a job well done, go back to them and say, thank you so much. That email really made my day where you appreciated me. Can you let me know, which aspect of my leadership do you really think helped this project, right? And we miss on that opportunity, right? Especially women, and I talk about this in my book also. Each of the chapters has a woman's perspective section in there. But especially women would say, oh, no, it was all teamwork, right? So first acknowledge, say thank you, and then stop, right? You don't need to sugarcoat it anymore. You don't need to say it was everybody's, effort. Then you need to ask, what did you really find me doing that helped further this project or help this project be successful, and that's your superpower. If you are embarrassed to go and ask people, which many of us are, and earlier I was, review the situations, I actually created a spreadsheet of all the projects that I was working on, what skill set was required on all those projects, and kind of went with the tally system, old age tally system, saying these are the 4 or 5 skills. And then you kind of build on that. So then you identify what makes you happy. So project planning makes me happy. I had a project plan for my 25 people wedding, that really didn't need a project plan. So, so basically, and then if you map it back to my superpower, the execution, being able to articulate it into an executable plan, that's where my skill set lies too. And once you identify it, then build on it, right? So if you have identified it, if your skill set is collaboration, for example, right? Stakeholder management, how can you build on that? Can you take a certification? Can you look for more opportunities where you can hone that skill set? Building your brand. So early on, I used to go to conferences, and people would say, hi, I'm this and this. And I would say, hi, I'm this and this, and I have this job title, and I'm from this company. And that was my brand. My identity changed with every company that I changed. And I realized that it was not about the company that I worked for. It was about me. So I had to start building my personal brand. I started working on it consciously a few years ago. And how can you build your brand? So first of the most important thing is update your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn profile is the way how people look at you. The outside world looks at you. Your social media presence is what people look at you nowadays. So your LinkedIn profile is extremely important. I typically would advise to refrain from putting the title that you have right now or for the company that you work for in your subheading. Instead, put in your domain expertise. Put in what you are good at, right? And then, because that is not going to change. You can change jobs, but what you're good at and what your domain expertise is not going to change. The second piece is, write blogs, share ideas. Don't be hesitant about it. Remember, you don't have to be a master in a subject area to put out a piece of content. As long as you can say, these are my opinions, and I invite you to share your opinions, it's perfectly okay. Sign up for speaking opportunities. This is one thing that I would tell you has done wonders for the women whom I have coached and for myself too. For me, just standing up over here and talking to you all gives me a different sense of energy. But what it also does is, for those of you who don't have an experience of speaking in front of key stakeholders, or suffer from, sometimes you're just anxious about how to go about and have conversations. In an informal meetup environment, it takes that hesitation away. So please do that. And as emerging leaders, it's very, very important that you have some kind of executive presence, and this really helps you build your executive presence. Contribute to open source projects if you're engineers, if you are, and if you want to build your brand around that, share your ideas share your source code on GitHub. I share some of my Lexus source code on GitHub. There are other ways to share your source codes as well. Sign up for volunteering opportunities. And this, again, is, I'll give you an example. A woman whom I was coaching, emerging woman leader, whom I was coaching, she was very, very hesitant about how to share her brand and how to share her superpower with other people. And I said, you know what, let's just not do it in a formal setup. How about you go to a couple of meetups and you kind of volunteer to put everything together or help them with some of the tasks, and let's see how you introduce yourself. And she did that, and after a few times, she just nailed it. And I cannot tell you how beautifully now she introduces herself to people. And for the first few minutes, she doesn't even tell them about the company that she works for or the job title that she has. It's all about what she's passionate about. and the kind of network that she has formed because of that. Because then you kind of bring in the people with the same kind of energy into your network, and that helps you grow the network. Okay, then create a plan to invest in yourself. Extremely important, please. So for those of you who are wondering why I have short hair, because I don't want to deal with drying my hair, and rather invest in 30 minutes of learning new skills, functional leadership skills. 6 months ago when I started EVOW and we started doing weekly podcasts, I didn't know a thing about how to record podcasts. And then I figured out I just needed a cell phone to be able to record my podcast. And I learned how to do that. So it doesn't have to be something that's directly related to what you're working on. Just researching on new things, researching on topics, being able to learn new things opens up your mind to more creative ideas. Navigating work politics. For those of you who think work politics is bad, here is some news for you. It's not going away. Wherever there are people involved, resources involved, there's scarcity of resources involved, there's always be work politics. Think of it as organizational awareness, and that's what it is. Create a mental map of power hierarchy. It's very important. So what you do is, everybody has a people tool. You go into the people tool, look up people where they report into. It's also important to understand who has influence with whom. And that's extremely important. If you don't know that, and if you just go by what the people tool shows you, you'll not be able to navigate that. So create a mental map of the power hierarchy and leverage it to further your projects. Don't spread rumors. If you hear things around, keep quiet. Okay, and never go against your manager unless it's an ethical issue. If things are not working out with your manager, have a conversation with your manager. Bring your manager into the loop before you have the skip level conversation with somebody else. But it's important to kind of always, be aligned with your manager. Making sure you're heard. And this is very close to my heart because I've sat in numerous meetings, only women having a seat at the table, and I say out something really nice and creative, and nobody pays attention, and then a male coworker repeats it, and voila, it came out of heaven. The idea came out of heaven, right? So how do you ensure that you are heard, right? So it's a use it or a lose it opportunity, I've realized that. Because once somebody else has taken away that credit and gone with it, it's his or her idea now. So I work with, I found out a mechanism, and I'll just play it out for you. So I have an idea, somebody else repeats it, and suddenly it's a great idea. And I'm like, thank you so much for articulating it so well, because that's exactly what I said 5 minutes ago. And here is a plan that I have to actually execute on this. And then I take the conversation over, and I tell my plan, because somebody can repeat my idea, but somebody doesn't have the plan that I have, right? So, but bringing that conversation back is extremely important. And then if you are sitting in for your manager, sometimes, your manager is not available. They'll say, this person is working with me on this project. She will sit in for me. Be prepared for that meeting. Don't go in saying, oh, I'm just sitting in for this person. This is your opportunity to shine and to show other people that you got it, right? So use that and leverage that. And then lastly, build your support framework. Logistical, financial, emotional, and intellectual. We women, when we think about a support system, we think about two things. Logistical, who is going to pick up the kids, who is going to feed the dogs, right? And the second piece is emotional. Oh my God, I need a shoulder to cry on today because I had a really bad day at work. But what about your intellectual support system? How are you working on the creative side, right? Whom are you talking to? Do you have creative people that you talk to, on weekly basis or on monthly basis who give you that boost of creativity? I have friends who are founders, co-founders. I have somebody in the on the advisory board who is also my intellectual support system. So I have this group of friends that I talk to all the time, and I call them friends, but they're more like people whom I network with. And then financial. How many of you have been in a wrong job just because of a paycheck? Many of us. I've been there too. So if you don't have your financial framework sorted out, then you would not be able to make a decision based on your values and what you really want to do to be happy and successful. And you'll always make that decision based on your financial stuff. So I'll leave you with that thought. If you are interested, you can connect with me on Twitter and my website as well. There's a lot of good information on website. There's a weekly podcast that I do. It's all available for free, so please subscribe it. The weekly podcast is called EVOW, and the link is on my website. And there's my book, Fast Track Your Leadership Career. Thank you so much, and I wish you all a very successful leadership career.
Thank you once again to all of our speakers. Thank you all for joining us, and please do enjoy the rest of the conference.